have my next guest, Super Bowl champion, Pro Football Hall of Famer. He hates quarterbacks. I love quarterbacks. It's always fun with Dwight Freeney.
Really? You love them?
Yeah, I do. I like offense. I do. Yeah.
I don't know. That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart.
I didn't see much offense on the Jets side last night. Let's go here. Steelers, they win. You got Highsmith, T.J. Watt. They're batting down passes. They're making things uncomfortable for this 40-year-old quarterback who just got Devontae Adams. What is going on? What is the biggest problem with the Jets?
You know, look, there's been a lot of issues, obviously. First of all, Aaron wasn't there all last year, all right? And they finally get him back. And you have, Hackett, offensive coordinator. Aaron has his guys, supposed to be good. But you know what? When I look at this, this team, it just looks like a bunch of guys not playing together. And it doesn't seem like they're in sync offensively. I don't think they have an identity. I think they're probably relying a little bit too much on Aaron. Aaron is 40 years old. This isn't, 10 years ago, Aaron throwing 350 yards a game, running for 50 yards and putting the team on the back. He's going to have his moments where he has those types of games where he's going to throw for over 300 yards and does his thing. He's going to have those still.
Okay.
But it's not going to be consistently. Okay? Because, when you're older like that, you have to rely on everything else, and which is a game plan, making sure that you're running the ball. It has to be a healthy balance of running the ball 20-plus times. So whereas though you can be effective when the team really needs you to make that throw. But just putting the game on his shoulders and saying, hey, I just want you just to throw the ball the entire time, the entire game, and you're going to be the guy who's going to win the game for us. I'm not going to say those days are over, but you better not count on that, because if you're counting on that, you may not make the playoffs, or, you may only have 8-9 wins this year. All right. So I think that's what's going on offensively, is that they're probably relying too much on Aaron and what's going on there. I think they need to run the ball. I think they have a good defense.
Yeah.
Okay. They hadn't been playing good the last few weeks, but they still have a good defense. I think you need to rely a little bit more on that. Change the formula just a little bit, because you do have a Hall of Fame quarterback who can understand coverages and know where to throw the ball. Just protect the ball and don't put it all on his shoulders.
If I look at Twitter this morning, if I type in Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron Rodgers washed, Aaron Rodgers retired, Aaron Rodgers hang it up, Aaron Rodgers liability.
Yeah.
When you're watching these games, what do you think?
No, it's what I said. It's too much on his shoulders. Okay? It's too much on him. He needs to take a step back. He needs to say, okay, look, we got other components on our team that can help us win. This is why we call it a team game. And this is kind of why I'm not going to say I hate all quarterbacks. I don't. But it's just they get too much credit when you win and too much blame when you lose. It's just somewhere in the middle, and that's where it should be. And Aaron, look, he is a great quarterback in this league. He will be a Hall of Famer for sure. But you can alter the game plan, alter it a little bit to where as though he's only throwing 20 times a game, 25 times a game, and being more, the throws that matter, not just, hey, first down, here we go, and just throwing it.
Yeah. To your point, they're 31st in rushing. They're 29th in rushing efficiency so far, dead last in rushing attempts. Yeah. They had it going yesterday, and then the interception came. And in the past, when I see Aaron Rodgers interception, it's like seeing an alien. Like, I'm never gonna, I'm watching a unicorn happen. It doesn't happen. And now, he threw 2 last night. That makes 6 in his last 3 games. Yeah. The most over any 3-game span in his career. What's going on with the interceptions?
Well, look, I think when you throw those interceptions, a lot of times you're trying to force it. You're trying to make plays happen. All right. Now, I don't know if it's just an offensive line issue where they're not having confidence of running the ball and they can't run the ball. Well, if you have an offensive line issue, maybe they can't pass protect, or maybe they're a little bit better at pass protecting than running the ball. If that's the case, they're going to have a problem, because you have to establish to run, especially when the weather gets bad. It's going to get worse, all right? December's coming, November, December, January. So they're going to have to be able to run the football to do anything in this league. Even if you look at Kansas City Chiefs, all right, what are they doing? They're running the ball. They're playing great defense, running the ball. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes is doing this thing when third down, when they need a play, he makes the play. But you see this time in and time out. When Tom Brady and those guys were winning the championships, they were, with the Patriots. What were they doing? They were running the ball, establishing the run, playing good defense, and then Tom doing what he needed to do in the moments that they needed him. That's what they need to do at the Jets. It doesn't need to be gun-slinging, throwing for 400 yards, pretty 42-13 win. They just need to get wins. It doesn't matter about
Can
the
they do it with their?
stats.
You're a good person to ask about this because I was saying to start the show, you lose me on the offensive line. Like, is that something in your expertise and your Hall of Famer? Can you find the offensive line mid-season? Can they shake? You're looking at this or is it just? I don't even know.
It's going to be a lot of weight has to be put on the play calling. There are certain plays that you can run that hide deficiencies in the offensive line. Okay, there are certain plays that you can run offensively throwing the ball that hide deficiencies that the offensive line has. So they have to identify that. And I'm not saying that is the issue, but when you see, a team like them where they have the lowest run attempts and they need to run the ball, all right, that's a problem. They need to have some balance. You got to keep the defense guessing. You can't have them just saying, oh, here comes another pass. Let's come up with the sweetest blitz we can now because we know here we go. He's going to throw the ball. We're going to disguise this coverage, whatever. But when you start running the ball and they have to commit to the run, linebackers suck up into the box, safeties suck up in the box, things open up a little bit more, and you're able to be more effective.
I'm trying to see who the Jets have coming up. What's their next game? I don't see it on here. Do they have? Oh, the Giants. They've got the Giants.
That should be and better be a win.
That is. It's Jets and Giants? No, it's not. That's a lie. It's the Patriots.
That is
Either way, if they lose to the Patriots,
they better win that game.
That would be a bit of a doozy. You know a lot about the Patriots, Dwight. We'll get to that in a second. You mentioned the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, they look great. I don't even know what to say about them. It's more about the Niners. This is not the Niners team I thought I was getting. I'm sure on every talk show is Brock Purdy. Is he great? Is he good? Is he a product of the system? All of that. He just looked bad. He's making bad decisions. He threw 3 interceptions. What do you think what was leading the bad decisions? What was leading the bad throws? Why is this happening?
Well, you got to look at it this way. I mean, look who they're missing. Okay, they have McCaffrey's not there. Brandon Ayuk gets hurt. Who else? Debo Samuels is not. I mean, you got 3 of the best or 4 best players, in the league. Just not on your team. Those guys, those 3 guys could be mentioned in conversations of the best players in this league, and they're not there, and that is an issue. All right. So, like I said before, sometimes the quarterback gets too much credit when you're winning, and just too much blame when you're losing. I don't really think it's I mean, look, he takes risk at the quarterback position. I've always said that. For me, I think he needs to be a little bit more conservative.
Okay.
All right. He's not Joe Montana out there yet. Okay. Just relax. Just throw the pass that's wide open. You don't need to thread the needle between the safety and the line. But just relax. You have some great talent around you. All right. Rely on them.
Yeah.
Okay, rely on them, but now they don't have those guys.
I know, but they don't have those guys a couple weeks ago against the Rams, and he looked good.
But listen, it's okay because every game is different. Okay, some games that you can highlight certain things that the Rams are really doing bad, and you can say, okay, we don't necessarily need our superstars this game. We can just run the ball. We can just do this scheme to get there. But there's going to be games like this game where you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, the champions, or you have Spagnuolo, which people don't give him enough credit as a defensive coordinator and what he does. He has those guys playing the best defense probably in the league.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about them. They're all talking about
always
offense and quarterbacks and points. But the way that he dials up his blitzes and how they have them stopping the run, it makes it very difficult for a team like the 49ers who don't have their studs and don't have their weapons to win and have a big production type of game to where they're like, something that you recognize because you're playing against the champ.
So you're basically saying the Chiefs' defense is a different animal, even though well, are you saying does Brock need these other? Most people would say quarterbacks have to overcome not having these guys out there.
Oh God! What quarterback overcomes not having
Patrick
weapons?
Mahomes.
Listen, Patrick Mahomes is not out there by himself. He has Spagnuolo. That defense plays well, and he does what he needs to do on third down. And when they need a play, he always steps up because he is one of the greatest quarterbacks that we have seen at that position.
Yeah,
1,000%. But you can't. There's only one Patrick Mahomes. And you understand what I'm saying too? It's like you're trying to. All the quarterbacks can't. You can't compare them all to Michael Jordan. You can't compare them all to Patrick Mahomes. They're all somewhere in between and somewhere. There's not many quarterbacks that you have seen in your lifetime who can put everything on their shoulders and just carry franchise and teams. You only have a few. You can probably count those on your hand.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of quarterbacks who have played this game.
Look at you defending quarterbacks. Look at you, Dwight.
Really.
You're going back to back defending. Listen, you took the blame off of Aaron Rodgers, who's a pinata this morning, and Brock Purdy. People just think he's a product of a system, and you're taking the blame off him too.
I mean, listen, I'm real. I'm a realist. I really don't love quarterbacks. That's understood. But I'm real. I'm going to keep it real. That's just me. And that's just what I see.
They got the Cowboys this week. Who do you have more faith in? Niners, Cowboys. Woof. Woof.
You grab a coin.
Who do you have more faith in? Who do you got more faith in there?
Well,
and it's in San Francisco.
I think San Francisco just because that their defense is more together. They're playing better defensively.
Okay.
Offensively isn't great, but defensively for the Cowboys, they're not playing well.
Yeah.
They have better offensive weapons right now, but I think, I give the edge to, 49ers are playing at home.
Okay, love that. It's that close, and it shouldn't be. Okay, let's go to the third quarter of this Chiefs-Niners game. I'm going to show you this. Mahomes, I don't know if you saw it. He had this 33-yard run. He tiptoes down the sideline, just prances, setting up a touchdown, puts the Chiefs up 2 scores. Niners defense, they look like they're worried about delivering a hit, right? They don't want to get flagged.
Let me tell you something. This play should have never happened. Now, this is a product. This is 100% a product of a couple of things.
Okay.
One, you can't touch quarterbacks. Everybody's scared to hit a quarterback these days, and you don't want to hit them, especially when he comes close to the sideline, because they protect them so much. So they're probably thinking in this point, hey, you know what? He's going to run out of bounds. We don't want to get a penalty. Let me just tiptoe over there, and he's going to just run out of bounds. And Patrick took advantage of the soft-ass rules they have for the quarterbacks. So that's what happened. That's one. Two, there's a couple players on the defensive line who were tiptoeing and basically taking the play off, not running hard to the ball, and they got caught. They got basically because they were like, okay, you know what? Let me go rest up for a first down coming down. He's going to run out of bounds. And then all of a sudden, he just picks up and runs for another 15 yards. And then all of a sudden, you see guys speeding up.
Oh, boy.
You should never speed up. You should always be running full speed to the ball no matter what. No matter what happens, no matter the rules, no matter all the protections for the quarterback, run full speed and you'll make the play. And if you don't, hey, it is what it is.
So you're saying to go hard and lay his ass out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's basically what I'm saying. Stop being soft.
That's what you would do under those rules. What did you call them? Soft ass quarterback rules?
Listen.
Under those rules, what are you doing in that situation?
I'm running to the ball, and if he's in bounds, I'm cleaning his clock, and that's just what it is. And if they throw a flag, they throw a flag. If they don't, great, they didn't throw a flag. You just got to play the game. The game, you got to play it hard. That's how you got to play the game. Let the refs figure it out and throw a flag if they're going to throw a flag.
I love hearing that perspective from you. I need your perspective on another thing from this game. what the heck was this Brian Cook character thinking? Who punches Trent Williams? This was is there any worse decision ever made in the last 100-something years of football? He jabbed Trent Williams when he was on his knees. What was he thinking?
You know what? He was probably frustrated, but you know what? In the end, it don't even matter because this is football. This is what happens in the game and no one actually sees. I'm glad that they can actually caught that because there's so many moments in time where you always take someone takes a shot and the second man always gets caught. You hit Trent Williams. I mean, what are you going to do? What is he going to do? They don't even play the same position in the same vicinity, so he probably can get away with this.
I understand that. There's taking a jab at somebody, and then there's taking a jab at Thanos. Like, what are we? I'm just talking about, like, out of all the players to get heated and try to get one in on, Trent Williams is literally the last person on the list.
Oh. But that tells you about the game of football. Okay. And we don't care. We don't care if you're a giant. We don't care. We're on defense.
I need your best story. I need your bet. Who punched you? Who did you punch? Who'd you get one in on? I need to take me back. Have you ever been punched on the field? You've been punched on the field?
Listen, I'm not going to mention.
Oh, you got to.
Put it this way. Let's just say there was a moment when I was a rookie, and I didn't realize even what the NFL was about. You're going out there. You thought it was a rough game, a tough game. You don't really know.
Okay.
So, you go out there, and I engaged with an offensive tackle and, for my specific team and, I don't know, New Orleans, let's just say.
Whoa.
And all of a sudden, I'm feeling somebody punching me in my ribs while I'm engaged with them. And I'm thinking to myself, stop it. And then, so what I'm doing is I'm engaged. I'm thinking to myself, what is this dude doing? And it was actually comical because it didn't hurt. I wasn't getting affected by it, but the fact of the matter that he was actually doing that, I was like, oh, this is nuts.
Who is it? 2002?
Okay.
New Orleans.
Don't worry about it. Stop. Don't look at the stats. Turn your computer off.
Kyle Turley?
Grab your phone.
Was it Kyle Turley?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Matthew Hamilton is a genius.
I did not say anything.
Kyle Turley went into the ribs?
There might have been some, maybe it was playful hits. Who knows? It didn't affect me. It didn't hurt. It was just kind of weird.
No, Turley was a maniac, like a true maniac.
Maybe. There you go.
We're going to take a short break here. I need to know about the Lions. We're going to talk MVP. By the way, I mean, no defensive player even near MVP. We got to get into it. So freaking funny. I want to ask you about the Lions. We're going to keep going here through the break. So they're in first place in the North. First time the Vikings allowed more than 30 points all season. Flores has been lights out. Jared Goff, another lights out game. Just perfect the first half, unbelievable. When I look at Jared Goff and I'm thinking MVP, I'm thinking I want to believe in them in the Super Bowl. What does he do that sort of sets him apart that he's so dialed in right now?
Well, look, what they do is kind of what I described earlier about what the Jets should do. What do the Detroit Lions do?
They run.
There you go. They establish the run. Okay, you have to respect the run. And what do they do very well? They play action very well. Okay, because now you have to bite on these running backs that they have that run with reckless abandon, and they just go out there. And so now you're like, okay, you have one of the best offensive lines, okay, that create these huge holes. We better commit to the run because if we don't, they're going to kill us. And all of a sudden now you have these play action passes. Things open up. Safeties bite, linebackers bite. Now those routes that were just okay routes, now they're awesome routes. They're wide open. So now you have a system in place to where as though he's familiar with and he understands it. And now you don't ask him to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. You ask him just to throw 20 to 25 times a game, and just make the throws that are wide open and you don't need to force anything. It's because of how they play. Now, if you ask him, all right, here we go. I want you to throw 40 times a game, and this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a shootout. He's not going to be the same guy, Okay, it's not a knock on him.
Yeah.
It's just what they do is such a team-oriented type of complementary type of game,
Yeah.
which you're supposed to run.
But he's
And
in
that's
his
why they're so
bag
good.
though. When we're watching him, he's just mentally dialed
He's
in,
there.
making the right
But
decisions, making them quickly. Like there's
100.
is
But
that
the
just
thing is, that's
confidence?
what it is. It's not just, it is confidence, but it's confidence because of success of what you've been doing, and you believe in the system, you believe in what you're doing, and they're dialed in with the offensive coordinator, speaking to him the way that he speaks to him and shows them the things that they need to show, how they run the ball. They are one of the best teams in the league right now, at what they're doing, and they play great. And he's just another player. Like I said before, when he was with the Rams and he got traded, everyone said, "Oh, he's terrible. Who wants him?" And I said, "Look, you don't know. He can still throw the ball. It's just about the system that you get in. If you get into a good system, you get confidence, things can happen."
Hanging out on Up and Adams with Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney. We're sort of, what the lesson of today is, you're not ever putting all the credit on the quarterback and all the blame on the quarterback. They shoulder too much both ways. Which quarterback deserves the most credit for being the sort of the outlier to that? Who is the quarterback in your view ever, all time, that you played against, that you see now, that really does deserve either the blame or the credit more than everything else? Is there one?
The blame. Let me think. That's a good question.
Like who's the outlier that either elevated their team or brought them down?
Well, look, there's a lot of quarterbacks that bring you down. I'm sorry. But you know what? But there's a lot of quarterbacks that elevate you as well.
Yeah.
And I think that all the quarterbacks, you talk about the great ones. You got Peyton, you got Tom, you got those guys, you got John Elway, you got all those guys back in the day and that played, and guys that play now. I think you hedge it more on the side of, look, a lot of things that they're doing well is because of him.
Yeah.
But not everything. It's just not everything. It's not like, you see, here we go, Tom Brady goes back and drops and he throws a 3-yard out. And it's like, oh my God, what the greatest 3-yard out I've ever seen in my life.
Tom got too much credit.
What a great. Well, I mean, I think every quarterback gets too much credit. Yes. Every quarterback gets too much credit. Listen, and it's okay. I know it's a quarterback game.
I love that. I want to show you, because it's a quarterback, I want to show you some MVP candidates. Let's pull that up. We're talking about Jared Goff. He's definitely on the list. I think he's got the 4th best odds right now, plus 650. It's Mahomes, it's Lamar, Josh Allen. Who's the MVP? If you could vote, who are you putting it in for right now?
All right, so it says regular season, you should say quarterback MVP. Let me not go there. Let's see, right now, you would have to give it. I think you would have to give it to Jared. I think Jared's just playing. Me personally, I think he's just playing great. He's playing great football. Nothing against Patrick. Patrick has had better years. He's still obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks this year. And who's played the game. But I just think that Jared Goff, he's playing great ball. Yeah. I think there's one game this year he had no incompletions.
Crazy.
And just, I don't know what his
three games.
QBR
Three
is.
games in the first half he has no incompletions. 3 of the last 4, I think. It's just absolutely bananas.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's talking about him. But I just think, from just a standpoint of just being effective. Yeah. Just doing your job, doing the way that you're supposed to. He's up there, man.
I love that. By the way, Derrick Henry is the first non-quarterback on FanDuel that could get odds, and he's the 17th. It's 16 quarterbacks and then Derrick Henry.
Just like I said, just say quarterback MVP. Don't say, because it becomes, it's like no one else matters. Yeah. It's just they all
get too much credit anyway. MVP. Hey, did Peyton Manning get too much credit?
Every quarterback gets too much credit.
I love it.
There's just some quarterbacks just a little bit more or less.